the Greek colony of Colchis, available with the not Pirates and Raiders, sorry, the Black Sea Colonies DLC, the same one as Chimeria, previously covered. They are a good faction, but not a brilliant one. Their core strengths rely on their high armor piercing and good charge bonus units like the Kartli Axeman. Their cheap bloaters, their fairly good shock and melee cavalry, cost-effective options, and a very, very good elite cost-effective hoplite that has immense drip. Those guys in the back there. In fact, I'll make you admire them. You're forced. Their weaknesses include a lightly armored skirmishers, which is a problem, as they're only armored skirmishers the regular peltast. Their cavalry is outclassed. I said it was cost-effective, not necessarily the best. Their horse skirmishers and horse archer cav is mediocre. And their melee infantry lacks survivability. And their low tiers might be cheap, but they're not the best. And I shall go over this individually. So I'll make a cut and we'll go over there. Okay, so we'll kick it off with the Hillman. Previously covered multiple times with as an armor-piercing low tier, but severely lacking in literally every other department. For 220, you're getting armor-piercing, 10 AP as they wield the axe weapon. You are getting 2 volleys of peeler, which is quite nice. That's pretty much the extent of their killing power and the extent of doing literally anything other than pushing up siege equipment. So, Eastern Spearmen, they're not good, but they're cheap. So if you really need a cheap low tier, they do have 45 armor, and if you need something to push torts up that is even less valuable than a Hillman, I guess they're there. But once again, not brilliant against Cav. They are really high bonus versus large, but you know, if a Cav walks into them, they'll kill them, I guess. Yeah, but 180. They're 40 less than the Hillman. They're siege equipment pushers. There's almost no reason to bring them. Regular Axeman. Subpar version of the kartlies. For 640. A significant upgrade from the Hillman. They kill low tiers, but they're not survivable. They're survivable as a Pontic sword, which translates into not very. They don't have shield wall. They have good attack, low defense, okay charge bonus, good armor, but the rest is just low or mid. It's not a great unit, but if you want something to kill low tiers that isn't a kartli, because your own low tiers can't do it, I guess. But I never recommend Axeman. Never. They'll likely be shot up as they cost a significant amount anyway. Sure, it's the same on kartlies, but the price difference is only 120. So very rarely take the Axeman, in my opinion. Regular hoplites, outshined by their elite variant. Don't bring them as Colchis. You're an aggressive faction. You're not a defensive one. So don't try and change the meta with a very subpar unit, such as the regular hoplites. No elite spear. They've got survivability though. That's something that can be said compared to the kartlies. Good defensive stats. But I wouldn't want to bring these too much. Okay, so the kartlies. This is your core unit, core frontline unit. Good charge bonus. Got the 10 AP of the axe. Really high attack. Lower defense. Good armor. Good morale. Lowish health. So when someone sees a kartli, they're going to be shot because they know the damage they can do. They do have shield wall and discipline, so their morale's pretty good. If these guys get... These guys, 50 more, 760. Now, thorax. 650 for hoplites, by the way. For a little bit more than thorax, you're getting a higher charge, less survivable armor piercing unit. It would be good if you could cover them, but as Colchis you can't, which is what brings it lower down. But overall, for 760, I do love the kartlies. That is personal preference, because typically will be your teammate. I don't think there's many 1v1 sieges. So kartlies are very good as long as they're not out-cycled, which they can be, and as long as they're not being constantly shot up. Like, you wouldn't take kartlies into a faction like Pergamon or RDI. What you would is Colchis Nobles. 980, their exclusive unit, unique unit, and single-handedly win the drip contest. Debate me. I'll die on this hill. Because Colchis is very interesting because you can go one of two options, and depending on what your opposition is, you can do both. You can go for the higher end 980, yet still very cost-effective Colchis Nobles, or you can go for the more aggressive armor-piercing kartlies. The Nobles have expert charge defense, elite level morale, health and armor, really good defense, okay charge, good attack, the elite spear, with 8 AP, of which I'll prove it to you right now. Here it is. So if you think about it, Colchis is a very good armor-piercing faction. If you're facing a lot of armor, Colchis can be good. But if you're using a lot of jabs, you want to bring Colchis Nobles. Or if you're facing a faction that outcycle your kartlies, you bring the Colchis Nobles because you use the expert charge defense. Hit Hoplite Wall, make sure you're braced for the charge in Hoplite Wall, which they will do promptly when they stop moving. When they're all formed up like this, expert charge defense will take place. 80 on defense. They are very, very tough to crack. I would always recommend taking a few of these guys, even if you are going kartly spam. One of my favorite units. And here is their lacking skirmisher call. Eastern Archers. Trash, but you have to bring them, really. Yeah, they're your only archer option. Just look at those stats. No words. A couple of different kinds of shot, but no words. Eastern Slingers, once again, I'll briefly go over. Actually, I'll compare those two, but these I'll briefly go over. Eastern Slingers, slightly more damaging slingers. Once again, you breathe on them, they'll die. You tickle them, they'll run. But if neither of those things happen, they'll get a lot of kills and a lot of value. Same goes for Eastern Archers. They're both really cheap for 350 and 380. Then really you're probably gonna get value on these guys as long as you don't put them in a bad situation where there's a lot of missiles going around. They're support role. They're not a main skirmishing force. That's your teammate's role. Now for two Javies, you have the damaging Eastern Javelinman, or the more conservative, the safer Peltasts. The Peltasts I rarely see on Colchis. If someone does bring a Javelin, they don't want to bring the Easterns. People like to go for the risky, higher damage, with the safer, lower damage. For 370, or for 50 more, you're sacrificing the damage for a lot more survivability and morale. It's personal preference. It's 50 cheaper to get the damage, but you get a lot more survivability otherwise. Personal preference. What do I pick? Eastern Javelinman. For Missile Cav. Your Horse Archers and Horse Skirmishers coming in at 400 and 390 respectively. Horse Archers, just average, nothing brilliant, but they're there. Horse Skirmishers, high damage, cheap. They're flaming shot. Horse Archers have heavy shot and all the other kinds of shot. Neither are brilliant, but they're really cheap. And if you do need a Missile Cav, as a Sally, let's say you need to just kill off a camel, Horse Skirmishers can do that for you. Or if you want to be annoying with a Horse Archer, Horse Archers can do that for you. 2 melee cav, cost-effective noble blood cavalry, one of the best mid-tier melee cav. They will certainly serve you well. They will be very good anti-Sally. They can kill pretty much anything. Less so infantry, but against other cavalry, stopping Sama camels, stuff like that. They're very good at it. Citizen cav, you disgust me, no need to look at them. Paeus Lancers, the only real high-end that doesn't get into elite nor mid-tier cavalry there is. It has good armor, 65 morale. Actually, I get... not there is, actually. I want to correct myself, because camels in Eastern Cataphracts exist. Lower in charge bonus, surprisingly. Good attack stats, good health, excellent morale, good armor. Awful melee defense was a shock cav. They come in at 1080. I do recommend them. They are one of 3 gen options, which include the Hippeus Lancers, as you can see, Noble Blood Cavalry for a cheap one, or the Colchis Nobles, and each one depends on what you're trying to do. If you're anti-Sally, Hippeus, cheap gen, Noble Blood. If you need the expert charge defense, the extra infantry, Colchis Nobles. And that's Colchis, a small but flexible and versatile roster, very good faction, but not comparable to the best. Though they are outclassed, they are just simply outclassed. Which is why if you do a competitive tournament, they are lower down, because they're just outclassed. Nothing's inherently wrong, other than the lower survivability and weak skirmishers. But you pair that with a faction like Seleucid, you got heavy archers, and you now have survivable troops. I don't know. But that's Colchis. Next time will be Epirus. Bye bye.